Now there's a question that we can all agree on. Can Mass Effect really be remastered? That is the golden question of this entire video. If not, the whole Mass Effect remastered trilogy. Hello, I am NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager and the snowflake. And yep, this is what we're exactly talking about, folks. Can Mass Effect really be remastered? If you're not caught up or up to speed with anything in regards to the Mass Effect trilogy, you're always welcome to check out the latest videos discussing the Mass Effect trilogy remastered. I posted a bunch of videos about it in the past couple months, so it shouldn't be too hard to find, but also a lot of the articles that I discussed with to use for sources, you'll see them on the links below. So if you don't want to watch the videos, but you want to check out all the articles in regards to this remastered trilogy and all that's gone with it, all the stressful and hype and delay and disappointments that have gone along the way, by all means, give it a good old shot. Okay. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to shoehorn my links by the end of the video of where you can find me. Alright. So, as I mentioned before, can Mass Effect really be remastered? That is a tough question to answer. Now, this is talking about Mass Effect 1, not the entire trilogy here. 2 and 3, Mass Effect 2 and 3, they're not too difficult to remaster because when you go from Mass Effect 1 to 2, it is a night and day difference on how everything is told in that game. For better, for about 98%. And then there are others out there that actually liked how Mass Effect 1 was. Those are the people that have the patience with what was offered to them back in the day, back in 2007 when the game first released. And I completely understand that the outlier in that when people, like Mass Effect 1 a lot. For me, I liked all the Mass Effect games. I had countless great memories with Mass Effect 1, but after about beating it a few times, it does get pretty boring because you do the monotonous Mako driving across barren wastelands or planets. The pacing is really slow. There's technical issues. It's a clunky game. Your gun shoots like a stormtrooper rifle, blast rifle, where you can't even hit a single target straight in front of you. It's got a lot of things that can go the wrong way and can rub people the wrong way, especially give them, kind of give you a bitter taste in your mouth. Now, if you're starting from Mass Effect 2 and you want to give Mass Effect 1 a try, well, it's like playing Witcher 3 and going back to playing Witcher 1. It's that much of a night and day difference, and I think you guys can all agree with me that that's a fair assessment there, a fair comparison. Because just Witcher 3 to Witcher 1's combat is it is night and day difference. I can't stress that enough. I hated the Witcher 1's combat. I stopped playing because of that. Crap. It was garbage. And then when you get to Witcher 3, it's a lot better. Oh my gosh, it is a lot better. But one was open world and one wasn't. Still, combat. We're talking about combat there. But anyway, in terms of the way the game is played from Witcher 1 to Witcher 3, it is a night and day difference. It's the same, it can be said the same for Mass Effect 1 to 2, even Mass Effect 1 to 3. Mass Effect 2 to 3 are pretty much the same game in terms of combat and gameplay, okay? Not in terms of story. Don't worry. Mass Effect 2 is still up there on as first place, okay? Now, what makes this game hard to remaster? Is it possible to get Mass Effect 1 to be remastered? Because it's important to ask yourself that. I'm like, does this game even deserve a remaster or a remake? That's the real question. Because Mass Effect 2 and 3, they don't need to be messed with in terms of like how the game looks, how it's played, and how just everything comes together. Like I said, they're pretty much the same game, okay? Just different storylines or different happenings going on. Mass Effect 1, like I said, is the complete opposite. It is the ugly stepdaughter of the group. I know that pains for me to say because, like I said, I love Mass Effect 1, but when you compare it to the two older brothers, one with a shitty ending and one with a good ending, one dark side, one light side, and then you're like kind of stuck in the middle. You're the middleman. But at the same time, you started the legacy. You came first. Okay, you were the one that worked out, that let BioWare and fans let BioWare know all the kinks, all the wrongs and rights of that game. And that game alone set the bar for storytelling, graphics, characters, so many things. It was just a fun sci-fi game when you first dive into Mass Effect 1. Now, what makes it so hard to remaster? Well, I can't stress it enough. It's old. It's an old, archaic, clunky game. And it deserves more than a remaster, I would agree. Because of how much of a 9-day difference is from Mass Effect 2 to 3. Everything is different, like I mentioned before. Pacing, gameplay, story, characters, how it's all executed. Different. And then you think to yourself, like, maybe Mass Effect 1 deserves a remake instead of a remaster and plays like Mass Effect 2 and 3. Maybe they should go that route and it'd be a lot easier and less stressful, because the older the game is, it's a lot harder to get that coding to work properly and today's standards for gaming. Now, with that said, there are plenty of games that release half-baked, half-assed with missing content, or it's just buggy and glitchy. We get that still, and they patch it later. Mass Effect 1 was pretty much a done deal as soon as it left, as soon as it went into stores. Sure, there might have been a few updates for the game, but it's still, it's still clunky, it's still buggy, it's this, and that, right? But it still has its charm. It's still Mass Effect. It still has its core values, and that's what's important. That doesn't need to be remade. The core values of what made us love Mass Effect in the first place. All that needs to do is just have a nice, fresh, nice remastered coat of paint. But the other stuff, like the bugs and glitches and the pacing and the clunkiness, that can be dabbled with. I'm okay with it, but at the same time, it's like, do we want that? Do we want it to be freshly remade to where it's more in lines to how Mass Effect Andromeda was played? I don't know if I want that, right? The game wasn't broken. Okay, it's definitely not a broken game. You can play it, you can enjoy it, you can understand why it caused ripples in the gaming universe, why it made live television, why it was going to get a movie, why it made comic books, 3 sequels, whatever you want to call it, and why it was the next Star Wars for video games, the next space opera, how it so heavily impacted our lives, and it did that. It did that perfectly. And I don't think just because it's got some boring segments, look, recycled environments, I get it. It pulls the Dragon Age 2 with that. Barren worlds, I completely understand that. The Mako, it's boring. It deserves, it's not fun in terms of how it was with the Nomad in Mass Effect Andromeda. That was pretty fun. Or the Firewalker in Mass Effect 2. That was pretty fun too. But here's the thing, folks. In Mass Effect 1, I understand that you want to go out and explore other planets and stuff. For the first time, that's fine. A lot of those planets you go do side missions for, and for certain NPCs, and those NPCs get transferred over to the next couple games, and you'll see them, and you kind of, relay back to like what's been going on, like, hey, you helped me, thanks, I appreciate that. But it's up to you. It's your choice, right? If you don't do every single little thing in that game, which I recommend not to do, in terms of like looking for certain materials or tags and all that, you don't need to do that, honestly. But if you want to do some side missions that actually have a point to it and convert or transfer over to the second and third game, I always recommend that. But you don't even have to do that either, okay? And honestly, there's honestly only like half a dozen side quests that really transfer over to the next game, so it's really not that much. But if you want to explore those barren wastelands, you can. But at least it's pretty. The skybox looks great. It's fun going to different parts of the universe, the galaxy. It's great the first time around, but then you kind of understand how to play the game the second and third time around. Now, if you take that all away, when you just go straight to the missions, like the campaign missions, they are great. They are a ton of fun. They're so, I was going to say super sci-fi, but they're just really good sci-fi story pieces, set pieces put together. They're a ton of fun. starting from, Eden Prime all the way to when you get back to the Citadel at the end of the game. Spoilers, by the way, sorry. It is fun. It is a thrilling ride, and it is great. Now, like I said, the pacing and the combat and the clunkiness is all there, but you don't notice it as much on the in terms of the grand scheme of things, because guess what? You only have to ride the Mako a little bit for the story to find Liara to Sony. Also in what is it? Not Novaria. Was it Novaria? The ice planet, that's a part of the story. You do have to use the Mako a little bit. It takes like 10 minutes that you have to use it for. But honestly, that's it. It's always close quarters combat. You're having a blast. Also, I forgot, Bring Down the Sky, that you do have to use the Mako for that. But it's not bad, because it's just like you just do it once. That entire segment, you use the Mako to get from one place to another. And Bring Down the Sky was a lot of fun either way. But the exploration part, I understand that it can be pretty bare bones in terms of going from planet to planet. They did a great job with it in Mass Effect 2, because every place that you went to, there was a different planet that you could explore that was not a part of the main story. They made it to where it was all close quarters, but you got to explore the planet for what it's worth. Not the entire thing, but they made it into a nice compact experience, which I really appreciate. And that's fine. But with Mass Effect, you can do it once. You do it once, you've seen it once, you've seen it all, type of deal. But that doesn't need to be remade, though. Remade. I mean, you could still remaster it. You can add some a bit more assets to those planets. You don't entirely have to just scrap the entire game in order to get it to function or be comparatively, modernized to Mass Effect 2, 3, or Andromeda. You don't have to do that. It was a classic. It was fine. It was paced that way on purpose. It was more of a story type game. It was more explorative than action. The action was an afterthought. The exploration and the story and characters, that was first and foremost, because that's what BioWare is known for. Now, the slow and steady wins the race, right? Now, Mass Effect 2 and 3, they went for a more action RPG experience, which I can understand if some people didn't like it. I loved it. I didn't mind it. Because, hey, if I ever wanted to go back and play the way Mass Effect 1 felt for me, I can do that. But I hope I'm getting the point across. And if I'm not, I do apologize for that. But my honest opinion, there's some things that could be remade in the game, but honestly, I think it just, I don't know. If it gets remastered, I just want it to have better graphics. That's it. Honestly, just better graphics just nicer looking. Make Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Mass Effect 1 does deserve the remastered treatment the most. If you can get to a point where it gets so close to being remade, but it's still a remastered, that's fine. If it needs to be remade, if it does, then I really hope that they do keep that same type of game that we first experienced in the Mass Effect franchise. I want it to be there. Those core values should never be remade. Now, you can make them better, though. That's what remastering is all about. It's just doing a nice tune-up. If they can pull that off with a rabbit out of a hat trick, some magic trick like that, I would totally be down for that. And I think you guys would be down for that, too. Now, like I said, just to run through, Mass Effect 2 and 3 and Andromeda are closely similar when it comes to being an action or RPG. Mass Effect Andromeda is more open world, but there's still more action. The combat is actually really fun in that game. It works. Mass Effect 1 is like a slower version of that with less things happening in terms of, the open world mechanics. Mass Effect 2 and 3, just the trilogy itself, Mass Effect 2 and 3, they don't need to be remade. They just need to be remastered, tuned up, fix some bugs, glitches, make it better looking, and just add some extra content that was cut before. And that's fine. Mass Effect 1 definitely deserves the treatment the most, but I hope they retain it. So, with that said, the question was, can Mass Effect really be remastered? I think it can. It was not a broken game. Don't fix what was not broken, EA. Okay? It's not a broken game. It's just, it was developed a different way at a different time. And a different mindset was made. That's it. Now, what do you guys think? Should it be remade, or should it be just remastered? And what would you do to make Mass Effect a much better experience for you to play? If you've already played it, let me know down in the comments below. I want to know what you guys think about that. We already know what I think. It'd be cool to hear what you guys think. So I appreciate that, and if you made it this far, I appreciate that too. I have been your host, NikoTheLegend, also known as the Well-Mannered Teenager and the Snowflake. And we're getting close to spooky time. It's only 6 days away from Halloween, so I hope you guys have a bloody good time. And if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe to the NikoTheLegend channel. Check out the Discord server down below. You're always welcome to follow me on Twitch and everything else Nico related. Thanks again, guys. And the Pathfinders are always watching. Hopefully not Alec and Sarah Ryder.